My stupid husband was off making trouble.
We didn't say good morning yet.
Good morning.
Good morning, Maxine. So how's everything going?
Everything's going okay. I've been watching this show that's hysterical. It's called The Jinx. I may get some of this wrong, but it's something like this. This guy came to my attention. This is a true life story. This guy's name is Robert Durst, and he's from one of the wealthiest families in New York real estate. You know, they own like half of New York or something.
Oh.
And they have billions of dollars, and he, I guess, is like the black sheep. But he first came to my attention, or most of the world, I think, when his neighbor, who was his best friend, was found cut up into pieces in different black garbage bags that was thrown into the bay that was supposed to sink, but just floated back up on shore. So they went to check it out, and supposedly where Robert Durst was living, he was always sort of hiding out. Well, he was also dressing as a woman. And so they arrested him, and he got caught for, he did kill the guy, but
he did.
said, yeah, he did it.
Oh.
He killed him. He said it was self-defense, and then he chopped up the body and he put it into all different garbage bags, and then they threw it in the bay.
Ew.
Yeah. So now he says it was self-defense. So they made a 6-part series out of this. In the meantime, he was married to a beautiful young, woman when he was younger. And she just went missing one day. Yeah. And she was never found. And now they catch him with this. And he says, he did it in self-defense, and, so, and then he chopped up the body, and, he expected it to sink. The funniest
self-defense, I wouldn't think anybody in self-defense would be the type of person that could chop a person up.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah. Of course he's guilty.
Yeah.
He was found not guilty.
Really?
Yeah. But one of the funny things is that the guy who was the head of the jury, who's like a blue collar, type guy, from the day that the trial ended, he became best friends with Robert Durst for like 20 years until he died, I guess. Something like that. Yeah, the whole story is ridiculous. But the funniest part of the whole story is, guess who's starring in this 6-part series? Robert Durst.
He's starring as himself?
Yeah, this is just like when OJ wrote the book, "If I did it, this is how I did it."
Oh my gosh.
So now they're going back and looking at, the wife missing again. And they're getting into, this whole thing. And he has a best friend, this woman, Susan. And Susan, they're gonna question Susan. And before they get there, Susan gets shot in the head. So
by who?
Robert Durst.
Oh, jeez. Self-defense. She was going to screw up everything.
No, this one, every time he gets arrested for killing somebody, they give him a $250,000 bail. He has $800 million. every time he gives him the 250,000, he takes off. So, and he's like, he's talking about the whole thing, and they're questioning him, and it's a 6-part series, which ends at the end of the trial, I guess. But then it continued with him, because then he shot the woman in the head. So now they start the series again. So it's just coming on. First, they had season 1, which was until they found him not guilty. And the guy's nuts. And
So,
then
and he's probably getting paid money to do this show. So he's getting paid
he
for
doesn't need
killing.
money. Money has nothing to do with anything. He grew up with,
Oh,
he's one of the 5 richest people in the world, something like that. I make these things up, so don't quote me. But
and I never know who anybody is, so I won't call you on your BS.
Well, it's only in numbers. I'm always off on numbers. But 800 million, 200 million, a billion, it's all the same.
It's all the same thing.
Yeah, there's only so much you can spend. So and he keeps running off and disguising himself, and and he's talking about it. So he also talks to himself. So at the end of, I think, the last show that they haven't finished filming it. It comes on, I guess, once a week. But the last show was they're questioning him about Susan Berman. And, he thinks he already got away with it and everything. But what happened is they found Susan Berman's body, because when he left her apartment after killing her, he wrote to the police, and he said he put her address and he wrote cadaver. So they went and they found her body. Well, while the police go through her stuff, they find a letter that Robert Durst wrote to her.
Oh, I lost you. Hold on. I don't hear your voice.
I think the end of the last episode that I saw, they bring him in to question him about her murder, and they happen to, among her belongings, they happen to find a letter from him to her, and she lives in Beverly Hills, and he spells Beverly wrong, and they take the police letter that says cadaver, and they take the envelope that he sent to her, and they're identical, and they're both spelled wrong. So they show them to him, and they go, "How do you explain this?" And he says, "I didn't write one of them." And they're like, "Well, which one didn't you write?" And he goes, "I can't tell, but I only wrote one." So they're talking, he's mic'd, and they're filming at the same time. The police interrogation, the filming, his microphone. The guy talks to himself. So he goes into the bathroom, and you clearly hear him say, "Well, I guess they got me now. Of course I killed them all."
You can script this stuff.
You couldn't. And
maybe
he's starring in this.
Maybe they. I think it's planned. I think they did that on purpose to make it sensational for a show.
You couldn't do it on purpose. So I'm like, I watched the whole first season. I know the whole story. I remember, as it happened.
When did this happen?
I think the wife went missing like something like 2006, and the guy got chopped up in 2016, something like that.
I wonder how many other people got chopped up missing.
I think he pretty much got caught for everything. I think, you know, it was pretty much only the people he knew. So, yeah, but they kept trying to get him to tell, you know, what happened to the wife. And he would never divulge what he did with her. But I mean, in a police station conference room, in a bathroom connected to where the police are sitting, along with the camera crew and all these lawyers, he confesses to himself on a mic. And then he's like, in the end, he said something about, yeah, I guess it was really stupid of me to do this, but I've been on meth.
I what?
I've been on meth the whole time.
Yeah, I like my life. It's boring.
Yeah,
It's not like one of
boring.
those housewives. I mean, my housewife is nothing like whatever they show on TV.
Yeah, well, I'm too old to be a housewife.
I've never watched those housewives shows, but I know mine's not like it.
I have watched them, and even when I hated, you know, all the women, there's still something compelling about how stupid people are willing to be on television.
Really?
And another thing, there's a lot of interesting things about the housewives.
Yeah.
Most of them go on the show and get divorced.
Mm-hmm.
So at one time, like one whole show, everybody got divorced, and so there were no actual housewives. They were just by themselves, and you know, in their 50s, desperately looking for another rich man. One of the women that they had on there was, her name was her name was Luann, but she called herself Countess Luann because
Countess.
yeah, well, she actually did marry a count.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so but she was still, you know, this brash New York you know, woman, and she was young and beautiful when they got married, and now she's in her 50s. And his grandfather or great grandfather built the Statue of Liberty.
Wow.
And during one of the shows,
wait a second. So that would have, the Statue of Liberty, wasn't that a gift from France?
yeah, they're from France.
Oh, okay.
That's why he's a count from France.
Duh.
Yeah, we don't have counts here.
Count Dracula is not even from here.
Yeah, that was like
the guy on Sesame Street, isn't he the count? He isn't count as the count?
No.
Count Dracula.
Yeah, I'm talking about the King of New Jersey. No, yeah. So they had the grandfather or the great grandfather. She was from New York. They lived in New York. The great grandfather, somebody built a Statue of Liberty and brought it here, and you know, so that's pretty big. That's pretty major. And she had two kids, and they were, you know, in their teens, I guess, or high teens. And on one of the shows, she said, we're taking our daughters to see the Statue of Liberty because the grandfather built it. You mean to tell me that you live in New York and you've never taken your kids to see the Statue of Liberty that their great grandfather built?
Even with him not building it, why have you not done that?
That's really, they have a lot of things on the Real Housewives. I mean, this show is actually real.
Is it?
Yes, it's real. So like they have the Real Housewives of New Jersey. So those women are really brutal. And the star of the show, since it began, is this woman, Teresa. And Teresa's married, to this guy, and he's in construction, and I guess he makes a lot of money, and he's building their dream house. And she's like, she goes into a store and she's buying furniture for the house, and she finishes up, and it's something like $180,000. And she says, okay, I'm going to pay you cash. My husband always tells me everywhere I go, I should pay cash. So I'm like, the IRS is going to call you tomorrow.
My husband always says, use the credit card because we want the points.
Right, exactly. But you don't say this on television.
No.
So, and you don't take the money out of your bag. So it was something like that. Remember, I do get numbers and stuff wrong, but I'm giving you the basics. So anyway, fast forward 10 years, and they both go to jail. He was in jail, I think, for 5 years or 9 years. She was in jail for 18 months for mortgage fraud.
Mortgage fraud.
Yeah. So, but then they have this other show. I think it's in Utah. The women are like rich Mormons, something. So they have this one who's really nasty, and she like bosses everybody around, and she's supposedly.
I haven't met too many nasty Mormons. They're usually very sweet.
Yeah, I think these are bad Mormons mostly.
Bad Mormons.
It's a different sect.
Okay, it's the bad sect.
Yeah.
Got it.
There's some bad ones and some good ones, but mostly the people, the wealthy women, they're really. So they have this one. Her name is Jen. So the women all they go on trips together. I guess otherwise it's just too boring. They have to put them in situations and get them to fight, and that's what the show's about.
Okay.
And the women really, want to stay on the show because they want the paycheck and they want the fame, and it's become like a big thing. The Real Housewives shows, the reality shows. So this one, they're on a party van that's going to take them somewhere, and they're waiting for this one Jen. So Jen shows up and she gets on the bus with them, and her phone rings and she gets on the phone and she's like, okay, well, hold on a second. She goes to the women, I'll be right back. So she hangs up the phone, comes back and says, I got to go. And she runs out. And she said, I can't go with you. My husband's sick or something. She runs out the door. 10 minutes later, the FBI surround the van. You can't make this stuff up. And they're like, is there a Jen here? And they're like, no, she just left. And they all run out, and then she gets arrested at her house. And her husband was some kind of preacher, and they called him coach. He was a coach, I think, and a preacher, a very moral man. And she was running a pyramid scheme. That's where they got a lot of their money.
She was running it, not him, huh?
Yeah, she was nasty. Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean,
I can't even come up with good stuff to scam people and make good money.
You pick out these people. I guess they're good at picking out these people because.
Yeah, we'd be boring.
Listen, if you are making money, a lot of money, in an illegal manner, if you have secrets, don't go on a reality television show. and don't star in a 6-part series about how you murdered 3 people and got away with it. So it's these things that make these shows obsessive, because nobody could think of this crap. Right. It's like being in the mafia. They had a show called Mafia Wives, which was the housewives, but a mafia.
That sounds very stupid.
Well, all the men were in jail, so it was just the women.
This is probably a good time to pick a scam. Can I teach you a new scam?
Oh, yeah. I love scams.
You love scams. This one, I'm still trying to figure this one out. I got a text or email this morning about, the scam. And this couple, they get the text message from their bank, saying fraud alert.
Yeah.
And the text actually came from, that when you get a text from your bank, it always has that little same number that it comes from.
Yes.
So it came from that number.
Yes.
So they thought it was real, right? Because that's how they've always gotten before. And they call the bank back, and I don't know. They knew not to click on stuff, but they called the bank, and I'm trying to figure out.
They probably used the phone number from the email.
The message. Yes, the text message. They probably did, and so they call it back, and they're talking. Oh, they don't give any information out, right? But they say, okay, we need to verify that it's you, and you're gonna get a text message with code and stuff. And they're like, okay, text message with the code, and they give them the code. I think I think they just verified it on their phone, the code. But these people wiped them out for 50 grand while they were on the phone. And I'm trying to figure out how they did it. I mean,
well, they tell you you have to change your account, so you're going to have to open a whole new account, but they can do it over the phone. And then they ask you, and then they get every piece of information there is.
No, they didn't. No, they said they gave out no information at all. When they did the police report, they said, no, we did not give them any information. So that they don't, I'm going to look into that one more.
Yeah, that doesn't.
I'm wondering if the authorization
code. That doesn't sound right.
Well, I'm wondering if the authorization code was like them changing the email to their email or their phone, or, you know what I mean? Taking control.
Yeah.
Did you authorize this? Yes. Maybe it was one of those.
Yeah. Well, usually they say either, we want to verify, or you need to change your information. It's usually you need to change your information.
Yeah, but they didn't. They said we were going to close down that card and give you a new card, kind of thing. So, yeah. I mean, we all know, don't click on the link. Always call the phone number that you have on the internet or on your bill. But yeah, this one, I'm confused.
Well, never call a phone number that comes on whatever you get. Forget about that. Just go straight to the source.
Yeah. Yeah. And report it immediately.
That's a good thing about not having any money. I don't have to worry about all these scams.
Yeah, and if you get a call that's a scam alert, you can hang up on them and call right back from the card.
Oh,
the number on the back of your card.
That's
if you're concerned. I've done that before. Mine really was a fraudulent thing, but really wasn't a fraudulent thing, but it was a real call from the bank. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so okay.
Well,
be safe. Be safe.
Okay.
And enjoy
we got to get to work, and we have to figure out how to make money. Here's to making money.
Yeah. Well, is it making money, or are you going to go watch some housewives?
No, I can't just sit and watch those. I can have them on while I'm doing other things,
Oh,
you
okay.
know, and then you'll pick up if something interesting is happening. Otherwise, it's just people like stabbing each other in the back and trying to make themselves relevant so they can stay on the show.
Oh,
They
okay.
now actually have a thing that they call BravoCon. That all of this reality is coming from the station Bravo, and it's become like these people that are on these shows are called Bravo celebrities,
Oh,
and they have conventions in Las Vegas
really?
called BravoCon. I think it's once a year,
Uh-huh.
where all of the stars from all of these shows, the reality shows, come on the come there and speak on stage and stuff, and they get hundreds of thousands of people.
Well, that's a great time for the FBI to come in. They can get them all at once.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's
All right.
true. There's a lot of them. I mean, there's hundreds of them now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this show is probably like on 24 hours a day.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
different types of reality shows.
Well, I'm gonna go create my own reality show. No FBI, no IRS,
Yes.
no.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's get back to creating.
And no pyramid schemes. Okay. While I'm not looking.